Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've actually recorded this video 3 times separately. I've been trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to show the original video because it was actually shot on a Saturday when everyone was home. And I've already edited it and everything. I wanted to upload it and then I decided against it because I was fumbling a lot, and even though I knew what I was gonna say, like different words were coming out of my mouth and I was just really self-conscious. Not so much about being in front of the camera, but like just afraid that somebody might hear me from the home itself. In terms of like conveying the message in words, it wasn't clear, but in terms of like just watching the whole being flustered on camera and like just capturing it was really real. So but yeah, this morning I woke up and I decided that maybe I should just use it because I think it's important to show like what kind of things that trans individuals do go through, and how it affects us, even on like a personal level, like even though I'm inside my room on my own. It was a little strange recording the first time because I was constantly checking to make sure that no one was near the door, or like the house wasn't too quiet. I could still hear some sounds and stuff. Without further ado, living stealth. Test, test. Can you hear me? Test. Let's see. Sweet, you can hear me. Welcome back, guys. Today I'm not going to speak so loudly because everyone's home and it's Saturday. And this brings me to the topic that we're going to be talking about today. How living stealth has its pros and cons, and my experience since I've been here. As I mentioned before in the last video, I've been living here in New Zealand for slightly over a month, and no one has any idea that I was assigned female at birth. So that's been an interesting sort of experience so far. Those of you who don't know what stealth means, you know, it's basically in terms of like a person transitioning and stuff, it's them being able to pass entirely in their gender identity in the public sphere. So I have never been once misgendered over here, which is a great thing. I think it has also sort of contributed a lot to my dysphoria nowadays. I'm so worried that someone might be able to hear me and stuff. But yeah, it's not like I'm not open about my transition, but like because I haven't been asked or I haven't been misgendered, so it's just sort of been like, oh, okay, let me just roll with this and see how it goes, and how things are like living in a country where nobody knows much about you, and also just being seen in the correct gender that I've always wanted to be seen as. Yeah, and I live in a house with, well, I don't live in a house, I live away from the house, but I hang out with my housemates and stuff. They've been really amazing. So I live with like 2 guys and 2 girls. So yeah, I mean like hanging laundry and stuff. Like granted everything, like I think the only thing that might give me away if someone were to actually look at my laundry would be my binder. But my binder is from Underworks and it looks just like a singlet. But I don't know, maybe like someone might be like, oh, what is this? Why is this singlet a little bit different? Why does this singlet have like a reinforcement of like a mesh thing on the inside? I'm not sure. But so far nothing has been of like, you know, no one's raised any issues or whatever. One of the biggest things that I've taken away from how people perceive you, the male gender versus the female gender would be very much be in terms of work place. Like working on the farm, for example, I'm now team leader of the vegetable section, so that means that I handle a lot of prepping of the vegetable area, like making sure that vegetables have been washed, or we have enough vegetables, or what vegetables are available at the moment in the warehouse per se. It's not really a warehouse, but like the vegetable keeping area. And then like I have to assign or pack these vegetables myself to the other colleagues on the farm. But in terms of like anything to be done or a lot of heavy lifting, it's always, even if like the guys are all really busy or like tied up on things to be done at the moment, they would still call on guys to go and do those things, even though they have like 3 other million things already lined up for them to do. So that's just what I notice. Yeah. Also paperwork. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this video about living stealth and how it's made me feel in my experiences, especially with paperwork, like going to the banks and stuff, hoping that my paperwork doesn't have the female gender marker. It might bring some complications and stuff, just so I try to like keep my name as clear as possible. But each country likes to change my name, so it just sort of like makes it really confusing. Every country that I've been to and I've lived in, they've all changed my name, and I have some sort of a weird type of a vast variety of different names in different countries. But it still stems from the given names that I've been given my life, so I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it makes paperwork very difficult, and it also gives me a lot of anxiety in the sense like are they gonna notice the gender marker on my documentations, and like what if like I need to do something and then they realize, hey, how come the gender marker on this paperwork is different from this? Are you the same person? So recently, I think about a week and a half ago, my boss told me to bring in my paperwork of my work visa as well as my passport, and so I looked at my work visa and I realized, shit, there is actually my gender marker stated on it, so it made me really uncomfortable, and for a second there I was just like, oh no, I have to show this paper over. Are they gonna keep it or what? And like obviously my passport is gonna state so and so. So when I waited till the end of the day to bring up the paperwork, and then they're like, yeah, let's process it. So as we're talking and stuff, and then I had to show my paperwork, and I was really hoping that like they wouldn't flip to the last page, which had like all my details on it of my work visa. So but yeah, they flipped to it, and like I don't know whether they noticed it or they just didn't look at it. And then it got to my passport, and on the passport, obviously, you know, F and M, that's a huge thing altogether. So I was like, oh my god, please just look at the name, please don't look at anything else, look at the passport number, don't look at anything else. But yeah, it didn't seem to cross any of their minds. There was the female supervisor and the male boss, and like none of that came up. In fact, I think my workload increased, but I think that's just due to the fact that, you know, it was really busy and stuff. But that's that. And also, like at my other workplace, like it's really interesting how like if you're cisgendered male, people automatically assume that you're going to get married to a woman. They ask you like what kind of women you like what race, you know, like what kind of like boobs do you prefer, like A or B. And this would only happen if like I was really close to the colleagues. Like I've had that before, but I mean, like, you know, like I've always been really open about my transition and stuff, and I'm sharing online and stuff. This also leads me to like, you know, when people from here add me on like social media, I'm just like, what do I do? Like, you know, I see you on a daily basis. I'm really worried you're gonna ask me, hey, how come you haven't added me on Facebook? Like things written on my Facebook, and I'm openly sharing about my transition because I think it's important. Trans education is definitely important, and I think a lot of you have shown a huge interest. You guys have written in terms of like what you would like me to talk about or cover. So yeah. Yeah, I'm just really scared. It's pretty windy outside, but the front door is open. Mine is closed, but soundproofing isn't that good here in that sense. Like I could always hear like what they're talking about, and so this is why every time like I do my videos, I try to like do it on a weekday where most of them are at work or at school. But I haven't had time this week. Or actually I did, but I wasn't feeling too good. I was feeling a little bit down and out, so I wanted to have some time to like just recuperate physically and mentally and emotionally. I think how people react to you or how you treat others changes also when you are living stealth, because like a simple thing as like a touch on the girl's shoulder or something, you tend to see the way that the female bodies react differently to you. Some of them might go like, oh shit, why is this guy touching me? Or they would just sort of be like, this is uncomfortable. Guys tend to be quite mean to or like dismissive of other guys quite often. I'm currently working at the Auckland Arts Fest as a volunteer, and like I noticed that people stop more for females when, you know, if we're having the same job and we're just like front of house and like just welcoming people and stuff. Yes, like people generally are a little bit more receptive to the female front of house people instead of like the male ones. And like I noticed that my voice goes higher too, like hey guys, instead of like hey guys, what's up man, like, which is the comfortable range that I'm usually speaking in. So these are things like, you know, that I've noticed about myself also, just in terms of this whole social experiment per se. It's not an experiment, but it's just something that I'm noticing, and I'm just wondering like whether or not it's what the variables are, and like what makes people change or react differently to things. But overall, like, you know, I feel comfortable, I feel good. I feel a little bit emasculated because everyone here is so big. Like the Pacific Islanders are huge, like just big and buff. The Maoris also. So for me, it's like when I left Asia, I had already like gotten a lot bigger. I was now comfortable in a medium size, and now here I'm back to a XS or a small in their size. So in that sense, like I'm a very small guy here, and it makes me feel a little bit like emasculated when I'm out in public, but I have been adapting a little bit better, and I don't think about that as much. But I don't think it really matters. Like, to each his own, and everyone's body looks different. I think what's most important is like you're safe, you're comfortable, and you're contented living stealth. The question now here is, what do I do? Like, I mean, like, I could like tell. I mean, there are a lot of things that I can't share because of certain details of my life, you know, to my housemates and stuff. I'm really close to the two guys that I live with. They're really amazing and they're really fun. We have like weekly hangouts. They came and told me like, hey dude, let's go out for your birthday. And like we just did something simple, like a simple meal and stuff. It's really good. It's really it feels like a good support system, but there's something missing, like in terms like I have to hold back on certain things, or like not adding them on like social media. No one knows. Alright, anyway, thank you so much for your time. Till next time, guys.